You growing up, how was it?
Still, the relationship between my grandparents, it was okay, it was good, but sadly, my grandmother passed away.
Obviously, there were then claims
Yeah.
that you were redundant at work because you apparently attended a book launch of Sisnozi Mayaba. So you left the job. You abandoned your delegated duties. Why?
Crazy. So, what's happening with call center. With call center, there's a lot of gossip. Yeah, well, there's a lot of rumors that are created.
So with what happened to Dominic Somisi and Lasizwe, how do how do you guys handle dating a guy who was with you only to find out that maybe he's in it for the money?
There's funny moments. Like, there's funny moments where when small kids, they'll be calling you, oh, fee, yeah, bro. Those are embarrassing moments, yeah, bro. And we can't shy away from the fact that, yes, you are gay, but at the very same time, when is it going to end? When are we going to have our people understanding? You will see Abanda Banje on a daily basis. You don't have to remind me that you're Mofi. Yeah, bro. So those are the embarrassing things, and that makes me laugh. A groove. Yeah, bro. A groove. You'll find you'll find the bathrooms. Yeah, bro. And with the male side, and there will be the female side. Of course, I have makeup and I have a wig on, and I wouldn't be comfortable going into a male's bathroom. Yeah, bro.
Okay.
So, in a bathroom walk with the girls are like, hey,
Why does gays have money? Like, most, I've never seen a broke gay.
Welcome to Favorite Podcast. My name is Tato, aka PG Smokis. Hey, and today in studio we are with the one and only Tomas. And today we have one of our special guests. He goes by the name of Vincent. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Bro, how was your weekend like?
Nothing hectic. I'm going out for movies later on. I'm going to watch The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, nothing hectic. And I think no plans for tomorrow.
On a Sunday?
Yeah, no.
Sunday for lovers.
Like Badala Goko. Singabande indoors.
Yeah.
See, how was your weekend like?
No, chilled. It's only starting. Yeah, I'll finish off tomorrow. Yeah, with a big bang with the one and only woman I have.
When are you meeting her, dog?
No, soon, man. Soon. I'll just surprise you. Let me just put it that way for now.
So, Pastor, do you guys do? You see Limpopo when they marry, right? They do a step, like get them to step. Do you guys do that?
Not like Limpopo. Limpopo, remember they wear orange or yellow suits.
Not even.
Yeah.
Anyway, what did you study in high school? Like in your academics?
I did physics, chemistry. I was at a technical high school, so I did maths, obviously languages, English, Afrikaans, and then my subjects were maths, physics, life sciences, and geography. And lab orientation. And then tertiary, that's a funny one. When I got to tertiary, I didn't plan into studying or going to further studies in varsity. Because I matriculated when I was 17. So I was just like, what am I going to do, So when I applied at only two institutions, which was UWC and CPUT. So I got accepted at both institutions. But at UWC, I was accepted for education. And I was just like, me, gay, 17, depending education, it was just not fitting. I was just like, Because I saw, obviously, people that studied education, I saw them doing practicals during first year of their studies or the second year of studies. And I was just like, there's no way I'll be 18 at a high school in a classroom full of my peers, because basically they're like my peers.
Yeah.
So I went to CPUT. I studied entrepreneurship the first year, and then I changed my qualification to analytical chemistry. Why? Because I was on the waiting list and they accepted me for an advanced diploma at CPUT. So I was just like, you know what, let me take it just for the sake of me being inside, the institution. So I studied entrepreneurship the first year, and then second year I changed, started over, did analytical chemistry. Third year, it was fees must fall, got financially excluded, caught up on a lot of shit. It was hectic. And I couldn't get a bursary for my studies because my mom was working for the government. So there was no way that I was going to be funded in any way. So while the whole thing of Fizz Must Fall was happening, looked for a job, got a job, and never went back to school. Basically, I'm a dropout in third year.
At least you still got the taste of education. I think that one is important.
Yeah.
So meaning like you don't have to hear my heavies. No.
But maybe let us dive into your personal background just in a nutshell, because I think that was more of education. Let's talk about growing up. You growing up, how was it?
Yeah, me growing up, it started off on a good note, because I was raised by my grandparents. My mom being present as well, but she was obviously very young. She had me when she was 20. So she was still trying to figure out life for herself as well. So basically, me being one of the first grandchildren, because my mom's older sister, unabantwana naye amawele that are like 3-4 months older than me. So with us being born that same year, we were considered as the first grandchildren ekhaya. But ke ngoku umomkhulu wam got married, and then obviously they moved out of the house, and then I got to stay with my grandparents. So I was treated as like the first grandchild. So my grandparents brought me up, and I was in primary, lived with my grandparents. My mom got married. I think she got married when I was about 3 or 4 years old, and still she wanted to take me in because it wasn't my biological father. So and I think at about the age of 10-11, that's when my mom took me. She was like, you know what, I think at that time she was planning obviously to have a child with her husband, and she didn't want me to feel like ingati akangoyanga or I'm not part of the family. So she took me in, and that's when I left my grandparents. But beningapeli ekhaya khulu, because my grandmother was so fond of me to a point where every weekend dandiyama ndikhaya. So grew up, and my mom got divorced while I was in grade 9. I was in high school. She got divorced, and obviously a lot of things changed, in our lives, in terms of moving out of the house, finding another house. Fortunate enough, my mom was able to sell the old house, and we bought like another property, and then we moved. It was myself, her, and my brother. And then still the relationship between my grandparents, it was okay, it was good. But sadly, my grandmother passed away. And then life changed. Because I think we can all agree into about especially like she kept us all, together. We knew love because of my grandmother. She was very strict. Very strict. Basically, we couldn't get away with a lot of things, but she paved the way for us in a lot of ways of growing up. So she passed away, in a lot of like family dynamics so my mom met another man. She got married again.
And how did you feel about that?
To be quite honest, it didn't sit well with me. Yeah, but and I felt like my mom went through a lot when she went through a divorce. She stepped into depression. You know, she stepped into depression and anxiety, and she didn't take it well at all. So I thought mnaba mhlawumbe uzama uvala la gap. Yabo, but at the very same time I felt like she wasn't ready. Yabo. So I think it took a bit of time for me to accept into about, okay, there's another man. Once again, it's not my real father, and I don't know about or what's going to be different from the last man. I don't want to lie to you. My stepdad, the first one, he was a good man. You know, he was a father to me, and everything that I had growing up, primary, high school, nguye umuntu owangikhulisayo wanenzela yonke
Straight.
into, uyabo. So like even parent meetings, he used to go mama ngayi benguye osam nakwiklanizo esikolweni parent meetings. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't fault him in any way, but obviously there's differences that happened between Yena and Mama that led to the divorce. So but it changed, man. And I just felt like how are we gonna handle this? And when my mom got divorced with brother wam, I felt for him because I got to experience life with utata wakhe so much to a point where he couldn't. So I was just like, so kufika lo mntu, and lo mntu naye he already has his own kids. How is life going to be? But as Onyaka behamba, they got married, and he is the most selfless man. He's kind, he's gentle, he loves my mother so much. And I think it was very hard for me to be tata because ufike sengimdala, so ngokufika kwakhe endlini ufika sengilaa ba kubhuti, so I've always addressed him as bhuti, so he's an amazing man, and he's always been there every step of the way, through my academics, through our life experiences in yonke land. But I think it changed ubombe to know that we have someone that is supporting us through kuyo into esiyenzayo, and he doesn't shy away from the fact that he has other kids, and funeke basupportile. We do have a relationship with abantwana bakhe, they come over to our house for holidays in yonke lanto. So it's there's a lot that I could say because obviously in terms of my sexuality as well, there's a lot that I had to, I wouldn't say accept. I don't like using the word accept because I don't feel like people should be accepted for who they are. But it's been a whole roller coaster in terms of them learning about my sexuality, them having to discover who I am and changing throughout the whole process, because it started off me wearing makeup, me having to wear wigs, me being in the spotlight on social media. So so I was just like, guys, you just need to bear with me. This is who I am, this is my life. But I was so fortunate enough that they accepted, the whole thing. Didn't start off on a good note, especially with my mom. But it was all good, man. We're all good in Ngoku.
I like the fact that you're mentioning social media. And I'm a bit skeptical, but I want to ask you a question that might seem very vague.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good.
How are you, Vince?
Yes. Emotionally, I am not where I want to be. There are times where I just feel like shutting everything down and just because it's been too much. There's been a lot that's happening, in the last couple of months, so there's a lot that's being said. There's a lot of controversial talks about me, my life, me having to lose my job, and me having to befriend certain people on social media, and people are just watching me like a hawk. Yeah, and it's so amazing how I get to share my life on social media and people get to use whatever that I share to their advantage, to bully me. So to be honest, I can't lie and say that you get used to it. You can never get used to bullying. You can never get used to the backlash on social media. But hey, you need to have like thick skin.
Strong,
You
yeah.
need to be strong. And I think the only thing that's holding me back in Ngoko is I sit down and I look back and be like, there's a lot of opportunities that have been presented to me, you know, and being here, being in this podcast is one of them as well. Because you get to ucing bana, why am I doing this? Why am I on social media? Why do I have to do all of this? But there's so much good that comes out of it, and if I get to weigh the good and the bad, I'll say maybe 80% good and then 20% of the bad, because it's not always bad. But whenever the bad comes into light and we think this is too much, this is a knock. But I always say to people, anyway, it's not always about me making money, and this is not me gambling get mental health but I make money. I make a good substantial amount on social media. So I note I share just because of it. Because you only train for like a day, and tomorrow it's
something new. Something new.
So
but
I got used to it.
How do you handle all of those backlash?
I think, as I've mentioned, it does take a toll in my mental health, because I to Abba that sits down and I read all of the comments. And when I do read the comments, I just feel like why would you see I be comfortable talking about my appearance? Why would you see I be comfortable talking about my body and yonke lanto? So it gets to a point where I'm gonna stalk Usia and I'm gonna check his pictures and just trying to understand.
Where it comes from.
I'm trying to understand about also background and because I myself, I will never go on social media, even though I've been like the huge following that I have. I would never go on social media. The comment or picture I send it, but I'll send you. Do you understand? So I always question myself, why would you, as a human being, be comfortable just writing about Usia, you've never met Usia, you don't even know Usia, don't know them from above soap, you don't know their family, you don't know how they live, you don't know their dynamics, nothing, but you're just comfortable sharing these messages on social media. So I get to analyze, and Naz is in his head because I read all of those comments, but I think at the end of the day, I just reflect and be like, Siakandaz, so they don't know me, and I'll just leave it at that. But I'm always grateful for the people that I also have in my circle, and when everything is happening on social media, I tend to shut off from my friends. Like, I don't want anyone calling me, I don't want anyone checking up on me, because I just feel like it's gonna deteriorate my emotions, and I just don't want that feeling. And I think the more we talk about how I'm feeling, the more I am going to have a breakdown. And it's funny because the more you talk about it, the more you feel better about it. Right? But for me, I just feel like I want to be in my own shell and I want to process everything and be okay. And it's crazy when I'm training on social media, I will allow everything to happen and I'll allow everyone to write about me on social media. But I will go and write something. I'll go and write one post, like at the end of the day,
responding to that.
And it will sound like I'm explaining myself, but that I know I have a bundle that loves me on my page, people that follow me. So the least I could do is I'm not showing my side of my story or nothing there's explain or anything, but I'm just showing my emotion and be like, this is how I'm feeling and this is what I think should have been done. And I always end it in fuck that. think I don't care about whatever. Yeah. So my friends always say that, yeah, when I PR because you always structure your responses. Even in quick comment section, if you're gonna share a comment and I want to respond to it, I spend a good minute or two structuring my response, because I'm feeling attack in any way, but I'm throwing the ball in your court so that you understand about whatever I'm responding to. It's either but I never say it's true or not true. I never agree to anything.
Straight.
Yeah, well, like I'll make an example. When I lost my job a couple of months ago, people were like, I'll be like, go with whatever oivile on social media. Like,
I like the fact that you're mentioning that once again, this thing of your job. And the question I'm about to ask you might sound like I'm infiltrating you or anyhow. But I want us to start from, you were a operations manager, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I want us to start from the primary functions as an operations manager, as well as looking onto the sentiments of working at a call center. I just want us to start there before I ask my question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just tell me about the functions as an operation manager?
So as an operations manager, you are technically looking after an operation being a contact center. Yeah, well. So as an operations manager, I was a deputy operations manager. So I wasn't fully into the role as an operations manager. So part of my role, I was managing advisors, but I was also given the opportunity to focus on operational duties, where I am able to manage team leaders as well. Yeah. So in a contact center, there's a hierarchy. Yeah, well, there's a team leader that's going to be managing contact center agents, and then a team leader will be managed by an operations manager, and then operations manager will be managed by a senior operations manager. So day to day, my core role was to manage my agents, which is a ratio of at least 1 to 12 agents in a team. But at the very same time, I will be looking after the operations, targets, KPIs, and all of that stuff. So as a deputy operations manager, I was also reporting to an operations manager and a senior operations manager, because they don't believe in when you're a deputy operations manager, you are going to be reporting to higher stakeholders, the actual job. So my role, I was in a developmental role into becoming an operations manager. So in peak seasons, I'll get the opportunity to manage your team leaders. When it's when we have the busiest time, we contact center, go recruit more team leaders, and when they recruit more team leaders, they require more operations manager. That's when we will get into the role, and then go fulfill your duties. So I mostly did client liaison. So reporting to the client and looking after our KPIs, whilst also managing a team of 12 agents.
I like the fact that you worked, I'd say, at a close proximity with our people. And, people on the ground always complain about leadership and things like that. Obviously, there were then claims that you were redundant at work because you apparently attended a book launch of Ntshayi Mayaba. So you left the job. You abandoned your delegated duties. Why?
Crazy. So what's happening with call center? With call center, there's a lot of gossip. There's a lot of rumors that are created, and that has worked in a contact center, not necessarily in a contact center, but if you have been employed, by an employer or by a company, you would know that once you are absent, usukoli one, without a medical note, that is allowed according to our labor law, right? And if obviously now my absence continues,
then it becomes a
after,
problem.
then obviously
Yes.
it becomes a problem, and then you have to obviously provide, valid documentation that's going to be supporting your absence. So they created a whole room. I'm gonna clear that now. It's not true. I was never dismissed emsebenzini due to absence. I should have known better. Mna, as an operations manager or as a team leader,
Straight.
Uba, like being out of work without a valid note, it's not a big thing. Yeah, well, so I, as a manager myself, if when I see you're out of work for a minute one, I'll obviously question you, man, what was happening. I could have easily lied it, man. I know I was sick or I had to go somewhere. Yeah, well, and us as managers, it's easy for us to get a leave day. Like I can literally just call my manager and just Mamela, I need to be at the home affairs, what today. Yeah, well, and they can easily approve because I don't impact operations that much or productivity. Contact center that much because there's a lot of managers that can always look after my 12 people for that particular day. So it wouldn't be a problem for me to ask for leave or book lunch. Do you get me? So it was never a fact of bana book lunch and dabuya, or I was never given leave, or I don't have leave days. I had a lot of, before I left, I had a lot of leave days. Yeah, well,
What really happened?
as much as I don't, obviously people that I have people that I've worked with that follows me, I wouldn't obviously want to mention because they knew the client that I was working for. But I'm just gonna say that yes, I was dismissed emsebenzini, but it was due to negligence. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
You can leave it at that, but the noise, it's something we cannot avoid because apparently you brought a false sick note.
Yeah, and that is not true. I as a manager, I know it's in that when say the sick note, like fraudulent, I've dealt with it a lot, and a lot of people that I have followed through with disciplinary inquiries now that have led to a dismissal. It's part of the people and this is why I think it was easy for them to make up it was a fake note or whatever. Nothing of that sort.
I think we all comprehend that the action that you took, it's recklessness.
Yeah.
But then why did you not take it up to bigger people, maybe CCMA, if you're saying that?
No, it wouldn't go there because when it happened emsebenzini, I took full accountability of what was happening and I knew the consequences. Yeah, but so I was not unfairly dismissed. So me going to the CCMA, it's me obviously now taking them saying that I'm unfairly dismissed or whatever. So I knew the consequences, and this whole thing happened in January already. So it's been like ongoing investigations. It's been like we've been going into disciplinary inquiries. Yeah, well, so it was not a matter of dismiss one ngoku. Yeah, well, so I've received, a substantial amount of support during the time emsebenzini. So it was I wouldn't say mhlambi ndingxolelwe, or I wouldn't blame it on someone wanted me to get or wanted to get me fired or whatever. It was never a thing of all a show. It's a life lesson to myself. I wouldn't blame anyone but myself.
So now that by then you were unemployed, right? Going forward, did you look for another job, and what did you do to maintain the lifestyle?
So currently, yes, I am unemployed, and I'm not rushing into getting another job. Why? Because I don't want to go back into a call center space. And went out of varsity straight into the contact center environment, and the only other experience that I have is managerial experience, right? So in a contact center environment. So I really don't want to go back. It was a tough experience. It was a tough journey working at a contact center, and especially for a person like me that has a social life outside of my work life. A lot of people know me through social media.
Straight.
So you'll get people that will be recruited emsebenzini and they will be under my management. And by the time I introduce myself, literally half of them, they already know
No,
me.
yeah.
So, and it was easy for them to, depict the narrative of what I share on social media and make it a reality kubo. So if I'm going to share ndaba ndithandana nomuntu othile on social media, where I'm sharing it as a joke, they will easily take it bona bayibona ba uVincent ujola nobani bani. So they kind of grab onto whatever that I share on social media. That's my reality. So I honestly don't want that for myself. I don't want to be working with people that literally knows me, and it's easy for abantu baku-call center baqhele. And that's why it was very hard for me to build, a wall between having, a professional relationship with my employees, and a relationship of social media with them. Because benza ufike emsebenzini bathi bana yo Vincent ukubonile kuye ku-event ethile nathi so and I don't want that. I don't want me to be discussing my life outside of work with people that I work with.
You must block them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't even know who follows me, and because they never comment.
Yes,
Trust me.
yes,
They
yes.
don't comment.
There's
They
ghost
don't share
accounts
my
all
stuff.
over.
Yeah. So I remember this one other time I was trending on social media, and when I was trending, I could feel when I walked in the building, emsebenzini, I could feel like people are like looking at me, and it was so weird. I knew that I was training, but I didn't expect people that I work with would obviously have seen or would have engaged in that Vincent Aland. Hey, I got onto the floor, and one of my colleagues came to me. They hugged me from behind.
Yes, sis.
And we greet each other, we hug each other, but that hug felt different. And she held on to me. She was like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Look, I walked onto the floor and everyone was talking about you." And I was like, shit.
Sis.
Like, if anything, I don't want whatever that's happening on social media to come into my workspace, because as much as I was employed by Concentrix, the company that I was working for, I was also one of the brand ambassadors, for the UK region and South Africa. And if anything, I'm sharing a lot, about my company, and on their page as well, with my team and yonke land. So I didn't want anything that's going to mix up my personal life and my social media life with my work life. Because I share both my work on social media and my personal life. So that's one of the reasons why I don't want to jump into looking for a job and getting into a call center space. I don't want to go back. I honestly don't want to
I
go back.
thought it would be an opportunity for you to even work internationally, since
Straight.
you say it's an international company. And I didn't know about that. I just thought it's a local, maybe call center,
Look,
things like that.
When I say I had the most amazing experience with Concentrix, because I got to work with a lot of stakeholders and clients. And apart from me being a manager, I was given the opportunity to also step into a role of change management and continuous improvement. So in that role, my manager that I was reporting to was in the UK. And I think down the line of me being in that role, I would have potentially, traveled to the UK and meet other clients, because my manager was based in the UK. So it was a matter of me building those type of relationships with those people, and they loved me because I am one person that is talkative. I'm well spoken. I articulate myself very well. So with contact center spaces, you don't get a lot of people like me, you know. And when I say people like me, being queer, being gay, being black, being young, being in those spaces, it's you in contact center. There's la narrative about you'll always find colored people, being in those positions, So it was new to them, and I think that's why I grabbed la attention kumbaba. Hey, this person is a bit different.
Strange.
So yeah, it was a great experience, Shame. It was an amazing journey. Worked with a lot of people around the world. Even clients they're going to meet with Vince and they're going to engage with me and Yonkelana. So it was amazing.
I must say, sorry, Tato, man, I must say, a call center, I really doubted it, but it looks like it's a very complex and lucrative business. Because, I mean, if you look at the stats of people indebted in our country, it's crazy. I think it's around 75%, if I'm getting the numbers right. Meaning you guys have been dealing with a lot of people. But then I wanted to also know the people on the ground, because I don't think you focused a lot onto that. You were just onto the management a lot. Seemingly that there's claims, about people on the ground. They complain about the highest level of toxicity when it comes to a call center. What are the major claims about them? Maybe is it working shifts? What is it about?
I want to use the right words. Because I'm still unemployed. I still need a job. So, in a contact center environment, right? The highest population of abanaba employed with contact center, you always get a lot of black people, right? And no shade or no bad blood to my people, but we are lazy. And by me saying lazy, we want to be spoon-fed. We want to be given the opportunities on a silver platter. We don't want to put ourselves out there. And we step into rooms having the narrative that certain positions are for certain people, right? And it goes to a point where when there's an opportunity that is presented to everybody, let's say there's a role, there's a team leader role that is advertised. Out of, let's say, 300 people that are in the operation, you'll only get about 50 people that's going to apply. And majority of those people that's going to be applying is colored people. You will not get a lot of our black people that's going to be applying. Why? Because they have the mentality that position empty no till.
Straight.
I'm going to be honest with you, right? Ako company, or let me put it this way. There's no company that does not develop the people and that does not know who this role belongs to, right? And it might sound cliche or they are giving positions to certain people. Yes, it might sound like that. Nah? But if Usia is going to come to me, Usia is reporting to me, Usia at Vince, I see myself as a team leader in the next 6 months. What do I do? Yeah, and whatever that I'm going to be discussing with Usia is going to stay between myself and Usia. You are not going to be part of that conversation, and it will only be Usia that's going to be sharing that with you. Yeah, but behind closed doors, I'll be developing Usia, all right? And as soon as that position come out, I'll be putting in a good word for Usia, whoever the hiring manager is. I'll be like, look, I've been developing Usia. Usia has been doing this and that on a daily basis. I think as much as yes, Usia does not have the experience, but I think they are well equipped to take on the role. And obviously, once they're in the role, I'll continue supporting them. Yeah, and once people identify that Usia has been close, and Usia has been doing this and that for me, people now, they start to say, and this will apply because it's given by Usia they find a position. Usia they find a position. Why? Because Usia put himself out there. Usia was under a developmental plan with his manager, and it's given Bana. Out of everyone that's going to be applying for this job, Usia will have the right conversation in his interview. Why? Because Usia will
Was
we'll speak
mentored for
about
that.
we'll speak about how is he going to be managing absence, how is he going to be managing our KPIs, how is he going to be coaching these people, where areas when I'm to that was not even developed. You're gonna step into that interview, you don't even know what you're going to be saying, you don't know what coaching techniques are, you don't know how you're going to be managing your KPIs, you don't know how you're going to be motivating your team, because you're not exposed to those things.
Straight.
So what I'm trying to say is that people need to be putting themselves out there, and that's where the toxicity comes into play, because now positions are given to certain people, and you'll get now people are in a call center chair for 6 years, 7 years. Now I had a person in my team, she was 62, she's still there. I left and she was still there. 62 years of age. Imagine you should be what is this, a pensioner,
Yeah.
and she's literally left with 3 years uba aritarish, and you are in a contact center, and when I ask her, how long have you been there? 15 years
Yes, says
in
too
a
much.
contact center.
Yeah.
All you do is, good day, thank you so much for contacting this and this and that, how can I help you? For 15 years.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
a lot.
Yeah, well, and then kuphinde kubekho umuntu ozofana nami ke ngoku that got into a call center space 9 months down the line, applied for a team leader role, boom, I got the
Already
role.
up.
Yeah, well, why? Because dinomlomo. Yeah, well, and I was able to engage with those people, like create those conversations and put myself out there, and I was very curious about how do I get there, how do I do this, how do I do that. Yeah, well, so I won't lie, there's a lot of toxicity happening in a contact center. I wouldn't say it is this shifty. It's shifty. You signed a contract. When you applied for this job, they told you you're going to work 10/7. So how is it going to be toxic for a person that agreed to their contract? It's a contractual agreement between yourself and the employer. So how is it becoming toxic? Or when did you realize that it's becoming toxic?
Straight
Yeah, when
up.
did Vincent working hours up? Yeah, but how did it become toxic? In Doyoba, you have a job and your core role is to assist your customers. When did you realize, 6 months down the line, when did you realize that it's toxic? Because you knew that your core role is to say, good day, how can I help? Are you here to make a payment? Are you here to cancel your order? Like you've been doing it consistently. And now, 6 months later, you're realizing, this is not for me. Yeah, well, but we are not going to shy away from the fact that you get managers that are toxic. My colleagues, and it becomes quite sad. Why? Because you get people that are going to be asking to be moved from one team to another, because babona dynamics is in your team, babona all the type of relationship of Vince anayo nabantu bakhe. I so wish nami ngana relationship ne manager yami. Yabo. And in a contact center, I always say, in a contact center, always do izinto for your people. It's not nice working in a contact center, especially working in an international contact center where you'll be dealing with UK people. UK people are so entitled. Yeah, well, so they come on the phones and they shout at you, they swear at you, and now you have to grow a thick skin and be that punching bag and accept all of those things. Why? Because you need a salary at the end of the month.
Straight up.
So I always say that just empathize with your people, motivate them. I always do well-being check-ins with my people, like each and every week. As much as I have 12 people in my team, I'll speak to 2 people a day, or 2 or 3 people, just to do well-being check-ins. How are you? Are you good? How's things at home? How are you finding your duties, your job? Is there anything that I can do to support you? And because it is toxic. I don't want to lie. Toxicity comes from managers. Because and you get, I don't want to say this because it's going to sound very bad, but these people get into positions with no experience. They only have a grade 12. You understand? And when you are in a call center, you don't get further training to become a manager. So you step into the role, uzixelela bana asikazi abantu ngoku and the manager and awuzongixelela uba ndizawuthini. You understand? And that becomes so toxic because now you're using your position to tuphatha abantu kakubi, yabo.
And not utilizing the actual skills.
Absolutely,
that you have.
absolutely. So I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I got toxic. Managers are really toxic, and I myself, I would have potentially been toxic to other people.
Straight up.
And that's why the whole thing that happened on social media, and yonke laa nto, it's how I managed. It's how I manage people. Now, I'm a very nice person, but I was very strict as well, because I think I had learned, I'm young and I'm managing people that are potentially older than me. I don't want anyone that's going to step over my head and take advantage. Yeah, but because I was literally one of the youngest. I was before like the most recent recruits. I was literally the youngest manager. M17. So I had to just be stern, and show them like, look, you're not going to do this with me. One thing about me, I loved HR, and that's why they were rejoicing when I left, because a
quick one, eh? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
because I'm also looking at the time. So with what happened to Dominic Somisi and Lasizwe, how do you guys handle dating a guy who was with you only to find out that maybe he's in it for the money? If you've ever experienced something like that.
I've never actually experienced something like that. So
the people you date, they're like in it for genuine love?
Not all of them.
How do you navigate that?
You could never. I was also about fan. Yeah. Well, so especially for us in the gay community, like you could never know intentions of zomed. Yeah. And from now. Yeah, but whenever my past relationships, they've always been lengthy. Like, I've always dated for 3 years or 2 years. Yeah, but so I've never gotten a chance to experience, these kind of things where I'll get a guy. Yes, someone will hit on me, and I'll obviously catch it. I'll catch it on the get-go, but when so I've never found myself deep into those relationships where I'll have to fund umfana or buy them anything. Nah.
Yeah, it's quite a lot, I must say.
So you want to tell me it's never transactional. Like you might find, okay, who's spending more? Let's say we're going out on a date. Who's paying? Is it like 50-50 vibe, or I'm paying?
Look, it all, once you're in a relationship, you get to understand your finances, as partners. Yeah, well, the standard thing is for a guy to take care of you. But if it happens, they don't have the funds or whatever, and I genuinely love you, and it's we are reciprocating in it in the finances, then I wouldn't be, I wouldn't have a problem necessarily covering the bill, because we're in a relationship. You're my partner. Yeah, well, but if it's going to be like a repetitive thing, if we're gonna go to the mall, your baby, the sneaker, and then the following week we're going to a therapy, baby, I think I left my wallet, or my
lies.
Yeah, well, so
I like the fact that you talk about reciprocity, and I think so many people need to understand that when it comes to relationship, just understanding the basic laws of responding to someone's energy. When they're giving you that, you're supposed to give that back to them. But I wanted to know, in 2026, obviously the gay community has been growing, and it's different dynamics. If you can compare it to maybe 10 years back, what are embarrassing moments into the community now? Because I'd like to believe back in the days, maybe even going out of your closet, it was difficult. Now that we know that everyone is just out about it. But what are the embarrassing moments now?
There's a lot. It happens on a daily basis, and I think you could never get used to it. I think one of Ezizinto, it's what he mentioned, having to find a guy and, spoiling the guy, and you having to spend imali. And I think we can all agree that the only reason why that is happening is because maybe umntu akancwaswa okanye they bajoli
Try to buy love.
yeah so or they don't get to experience like being in a relationship. So the only way for them to be in a relationship is to go that route. But there's funny moments. Like there's funny moments where when small kids, they'll be calling you more fee. Those are embarrassing moments. And we can't shy away from the fact that yes, you are gay, but at the very same time, when is it going to end? When are we going to have our people understanding? You will see abantu abanje on a daily basis. You don't have to remind me that you're morphy. So those are the embarrassing things, and that makes me laugh. A groove. A groove. You will find you'll find the bathrooms. And there'll be the male side and there will be the female side. Of course I have makeup and I have a wig on. And I wouldn't be comfortable going into a male's bathroom. Okay. So uzotungene bathroom walk with the girls are like, hey, go uncomfortable, and you are rushing. Like it happens to me as well. I wanna like wash my hands. People are looking at you. And the most embarrassing thing is when they will go outside and be like, call the security, be like, we're not comfortable with Lom. But it has never happened to me, to be honest with you. I'm busy security, but I get that feeling a lot. Like, but they're looking at me. But you'll get shame. You'll get nice girls that will like ask, like, Chumi, don't you have a brush? Chumi, don't you have a lip gloss or whatever? But those are the most embarrassing moments. And
it doesn't matter even if you go to the gents. It's going to be the same.
Exactly. Any lady showing it, man. I watch a lot of these TikToks. I follow quite a few gay people on TikTok. So some of them go to gym. Oh my God, you're at the gym, and obviously also you would want to shower or something. So which showers do you go to? Because I'm sure there's male designated showers and there's female designated showers. So how are you comfortable into the male section? Ube nails, you are now clipping your hair and yonke land. So this is that I try and remove myself from. I think yes, I would go to gym, but I'll have to shower at home. And not shower at the gym.
Why does most gays have money? Like I've never seen a broke gay.
We are Zatinina. It goes back to we are very well spoken. A lot of gays are extroverts, and it is very easy for us to create relationships nabantu either at school or in the corporate life. And it's easy for us to, especially for an educated gay person, it's easy for us to climb up the ladder. Because see ngabantu that when we step into a room, it shines bright. And I don't know, man, there's just something about gay people that with that they wanna shine. And I've seen it in a lot of people. And even if you're not educated as a gay person,
they are unemployed gays.
Yeah.
But you see this person,
of
course they get the money.
Especially those content creators, like you find like Omo Gellings or Okamo, like these content creators from Joburg. They make a lot of money through social media, and they have a lifestyle to maintain. So, and as man, we have a way of just making money. I put on my hair, my makeup. So I would be lying to say I know but gays find a way to make a lot of money and sustain Ilanu Zayabi lifestyle a lot.
Let's talk about your relationship, Bakera.
Oh, that's my friend.
So like the fundamental basis of that relationship and how people are perceiving it, that they connect you to his bullying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it is alarm kakhulu, and I met him. So when I started my whole thing on social media, I used to host events. So when I hosted events, he used to be one of the promoters, and then we will all promote event in Cape Town. He was very young. He was still in high school that time, probably in grade 10, and I was probably I was in first year of varsity at that time. So I loved him as umntana ngela xesha. At that time, we never had like a relationship because I saw him as umntana, uyabo. And I think as we grew up, we started having like meaningful conversations. Yeah, we're just checking up on him, and we were not that close where you will find me and him in one space. But we were always like a phone call away or a text message away. Look, he's a very controversial person, and he has his own personality, man, and he's always been that type of person. Umqala kwami ngela xesha when we started, he was never a bully, where he's intentional about hurting someone or whatever. But on social media, he's always been a person that jokes. I myself, I was like that. I had like a hard rebrand on social media because a lot of people knew me. Vince were confessions, because I used to do a lot of confessions. So people would literally send me messages on inbox. Esit bana you khawubhale kanje ukira nimfoni ukira wathi okanye hayi khawubhale kanje ngalona naleli nalomfana lomfana kavukelwa, like izinto ezinjana, and I would mention their names. So it was, so my relationship with Ukira I think strengthened up because I think I started to match him and how we were doing things on social media. But obviously as I grew up, obviously being in the corporate space, contact center and working with people, I had to like rebrand because it was not good for my image. So he's an amazing person. Is
he an amazing person outside the bullying or what?
Outside of social media. I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's not a bully. He is a bully. Whatever he's doing on social media, it's bullying.
Why are you friends with bullies?
It's not the fact that I'm friends with bullies ngoku, uyabo. I'm not a person onza kujaja ngento e1 eyenzekayo emomeni bakho, uyabo, or how you are presenting yourself ebantwini, uyabo. I always say that I love learning umuntu, uyabo, and I love learning umuntu ngendlela yami, uyabo, despite noba kungathiwa mhlambi mna nawe we are best friends and kuthiwa you are a killer ubulele umuntu, but our friendship was formulated in a different way, uyabo, and you have done something to me that I would never forget, and now I've done something to you that you'll never forget, uyabo, and it would never be easy for me to just abandon our relationship ngola hlobo. Mna nokira we're not close friends, uyabo. So
but because of the social media thing, they
exactly feel like, you understand, we are not always together. So I would have understood if he was like a close friend of mine and he knows a lot about me, he knows a lot about my life, then I would have been like, you know what, you're just not good for me. But he's not that type of a friend where I would cry for losing him, and I would, it's not that type of a friendship. I love him. He's a friend of mine. We've been friends for quite some time, for years. But I think our friendship is formulated in a different way. Him being a bully, he's a bully, yes, on social media. I reprimand him. Sometimes we are into on Facebook and texting like don't stop me. This person came for me, or this person is incoming
straight
for me. Don't try to stop me. Don't do anything. Don't comment. Don't share. Don't do nothing.
Straight.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Abantu abaninzi, they don't know this, but Ukira gets bullied a lot on social media. I was watching something recently. This other girl, I recently blocked her as well on social media. She constantly
Block.
Oh, one thing about it, okay? Blocking. No, but no, mark you and talk. I'm not telling them to block her every day. Block her. But that girl literally writes about Ukira every other day. She was literally obsessed. Yeah, well,
Maybe she's cloud chasing.
That's exact. And she's a social climber. So she was using people that have huge following to rage bait and
so let's not promote her. It's fine, you know?
So now she's not worth me mentioning her
straight.
So there was a bit of a situation happening, so I didn't see it because I had already blocked her. So I see Ukira is like throwing things back. He's writing all of these things. So but I already knew that who is he talking about. So what was happening? Is it the previous thing that was happening, or is it the new thing? And also look at no, it's a new thing. So it clicks back into people write about him and he doesn't respond most of the time. But corner, he responds very hard to a point where people forget that there was a lot of things that was mentioned about Yena, or that was written about Yena, and people are now focusing on the current thing that's happening. What is he writing? And one thing about Yena, he doesn't play. When he comes for you, he literally comes for you. He comes. Sometimes he didn't stop and Chumi, I think you're too much. Like, just stop.
And it's already dangerous, responding with emotions and contempt.
Straight up.
And at best advise that you try and reprimand him further, because that thing really doesn't stop.
I had a conversation. We had a conversation. I was actually on a call with him yesterday. And we had a heart-to-heart conversation.
Yeah, but he will understand. So based on his character.
Yeah, no, we had a heart-to-heart conversation. Obviously, I'm not gonna say what we spoke about, but he understood where I was coming from, and I told him, I was like, look, I would have understood if you were monetized and you were making money out of all of this. Yeah, well. Now, whatever I'm posting on social media, I'm making money out of it. But now he hasn't been monetized on Facebook, so he doesn't make a lot of money. So for me, it's you can't benefit in Tokyo and you're unemployed, and a lot of these companies, they do these background checks, and you don't want something that's gonna come crawling back. So I told him, I was like, look, sometimes we just need to analyze. I stopped and was like, don't go there, because and he doesn't and he doesn't like he would just he wouldn't even think about what he needs to say before he say it. So but we had really a good conversation last night, and he actually wanted to stop being on Facebook. He wanted to deactivate and just focus being on TikTok. Because he just feels like about Facebook, they misunderstand him and his content, and people are just always like personal and taking things into heart. But on TikTok is a different platform. People understand him. But whenever he says something, it's and on Facebook it's a different thing.
Sorry to cut you off, but due to time, so we have a segment called Past the Question, right? So on our previous episode we had Usason on our episode. So the question from Yena was, would you consider being an influencer for full time?
Would I? Yeah. I guess. I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot happening, man, in our economy, and I wouldn't say that even I'm not relying. Yes, I do get paid through your social media and whatever gigs that I get, but now I want something stable. Like, I want a solid salary that's gonna come at the end of the month.
So it's just gonna be part-time.
Yeah.
So what question do you have for our next guest?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I spent a good 2 minutes thinking about that. I was watching that. I was watching that episode, and I'm just like, it's actually a really hard question.
Yeah.
I'll make it personal.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at where you are now, what do you think you would do differently for yourself?
Okay, write down.
I am.
Write down.
What will you do differently?
Yeah.
Straight up. So due to time, any last word? Anything you want us to chat about?
No, enough.
My last question will be, what will you advise somebody who has influence, you know, and then who want to balance with 9 to 5, either being in call center or like a corporate world?
Yeah.
How would you balance that person to balance the both? In quick recap.
Because that's where I failed, son.
Yeah,
That's where I failed. I'd say that, just separate the two. Separate the two. How? Never, ever bring your social media life or your personal life in the workspace. As soon as you enter your office, it's your 9 to 5, it's your duties, and at 5 p.m, step out of that office.
Influencer now.
And then step into your influencer gear and do whatever that you need to do. But don't even speak about who you are, what you do at the workplace. Just do what you are expected to do at work, and then outside of work, focus on your influencer work.
Unless your nudes are trending somewhere.
Anyway, it's hard to avoid it. You can never avoid it, but yeah.
So anything else you're working on? What can we look forward to on whatever thing that you're doing?
I'm working on a few things. So I'm thinking of starting a business. Well, it's not something new. I've done it before. I have a hair brand, so I want to go back into selling hair because I've worked with a lot of what do I call these people?
Is that brands?
Yeah, brands and beauty or salons, whatever.
Yeah.
So I've collaborated. So whenever I'm attending events, I'll always like reach out and be like, look, can we do your hair, your makeup? So I'm willing to take that risk now. Because obviously that will mean that I'll need to focus on my brand and not promote anyone else.
Straight.
So I think work more on my social media presence, and just find my niche, man. Yeah, well, because Ngoko, people only know me for like maybe my OOTDs and whatever they see on social media. So I wanna have like a solid thing that we as, but if you're going to go into my page, this is what you're going to be finding.
Straight up, clean. Anything else?
No. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get to exhaust my questions a lot, but yeah, it's one of those days. Yeah, so I'm happy today.
Yeah. Anyway, from me, I'm your boy Tato, aka PG Smokers. And today we're having Sia, Tomas, and Vincent in the studio. Stay tuned for the next episode. Go like, subscribe, send this to your granny. Little ones, so that the channel can keep on growing. See you on the next episode. Bye.